Hello?
Hello.
Can't hear you.
You can't.
Oh, I can now. Hello.
Hi. How's it going? How was your first week back?
It was really good. Got my classroom all set up. Had some productive meetings with my team, and it's been a great week.
That's a
Yeah,
good thing. I like
yeah.
your hair. Is it somehow different?
I probably always have it pulled up because it's so hot, and I
Oh,
actually just washed it and put this up. That's all I did.
very nice.
Yeah. And yeah, everything's changing.
Yes? How
Yeah.
so?
I'm just noticing and appreciating things and being okay with how things are. So,
It's an
yeah,
odd sort of a thing, isn't it? In the sense that I don't know. There's a different sort of an inner world. There's definitely more capability to talk with anyone or to do anything. But also, there seems to be some kind of loss of connectivity with people. Lack of maybe understanding who and what you are kind of thing comes into play, I think, at this point.
yes. The best part is that's okay. I'm okay with that part. Like I don't seek their understanding anymore. I, yeah.
Nobody was doing much before.
Yeah, or I put too much importance on it or something. I don't know. It's been
Yeah, I think it's like that.
Yeah, it's been a really fast week. Like, just things have just been moving so nice, yet the week's been long or quick, yet the days are long. That makes sense.
Yeah, oh, great. Sounds
Yeah.
like you're really immersed in, well, getting going with school and the new interface with the daughters. A little bit of a new interface. I
Yes.
have extended families, everybody's children and their relationships, and I try to stay with grandpa type of a thing. The other day, one of the students said, "Can I bring my daughter over? She loves me to death." I don't know where that phrase came from, but to like, she really likes me a lot. She's this super cute 10-year-old girl, and all I can do with the children is be like crazy and give everything, and it's always about meditation, so that's not changing. Anybody's anywhere near me, that's what we're doing. But she came over, and it was her first kind of session with her dad and me, and I always make everybody food, so I'm giving them food and this and that, and all I'm trying to do is interrupt them. Okay, let's go outside. Okay, let's go to the garden. You know, every 2 minutes it's something different. And then I told her, I said, "Listen, there's not a child on the planet that can keep up with me. You just remember that, you know."
Yeah.
Anyway, it worked, thank God. I'm always worried, so that was nice.
Yeah. You worry?
Yeah, I worry. I process worry. It's a different kind of worry than before, where there was fear with the worry. Now I'm kind of fearless in my fear. It's not that I don't have fear or worry anymore. I probably have more, but it's different. It's I don't know. I trust what I discovered and what I'm doing beyond my own life and death and circumstance. So yeah. How's practice? Tell me about homeworks, readings, practice.
Yes. Just been immersed in it to where it's just becoming. Even this morning, I woke up. I did not reach for my phone. I laid and I stretched and I breathed and I gave thanks and I asked forgiveness, and it's becoming a part of my daily routine. I had a big celebration, a big party in my backyard the other day. I played my magic music that I received from my trip out west. All the songs that came to me that made me feel good. I
Oh,
finally put it on a big speaker and played it in my yard, and
wow.
it was the most beautiful thing. There were moments I would think something and just bust out laughing so hard, and like
Uh-oh.
just me and the trees,
Oh,
and
okay.
so it's just things
That's
like
all
that.
great signs.
Absolutely. And um I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just
It's yours. That's the interesting thing. No matter
yes,
how much I gave it to you, or he gave it to you, or the book gave it to you, always remember the hell with me and the hell with him and the hell with her, because this is about you. That's
right.
it. But you have to always have a modicum of respect for whatever the bridge teacher is and whatever like these enlightened people are. It's kind of the hardest thing to work with. But it certainly is like the more you than any you ever known. And it's so
And it's
wonderful.
and it's familiar, like it's like, oh, there you are. Hey. And I've really just been practicing surrendering and admitting that I don't know anything, and just sorry. And I watched the videos. I really loved the healing the luminous body.
Oh, good for
That
you.
spoke to me so
It's
much.
so easy. You just got to follow the program I outlined. Anyway,
I Yeah, I that that didn't interest me a whole lot, and I'm not, I don't know how to say this. Like when I'm listening to people talk and they do the woundology, it's just
yeah,
so
I'm so happy
everywhere.
I'm getting all this feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been rolling to me in such a beautiful.
Woundology. You keep going over the same grudges, the same things, mommy, daddy, sister, brother, and you just can't stop blaming people, and you just can't stop wanting attention for, oh, listen to what I was through. You think your trauma is bad. Let me tell you my trauma. You know, all
Yes,
this stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and I hear it and I see it, and I'm trying to be mindful of, because a lot of people are asking what happened with Brent, and
Yeah.
I'm to the point where it didn't work out, and I don't want to discuss it.
How,
I don't want to talk about it. It's over, like,
can we talk about that? How
yes.
long how long ago did that end? I just want to understand stuff.
It was about 2 weeks, May 17th.
Oh, before you came out here.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. Um, yeah, because I was just sick. I did had disease, because of I guess,
dis-ease.
yeah, the fear, the resentment, and
Yeah.
it was something in me just knew that I couldn't live like that, and I knew that there was more to this. I've Lessons are repeated until they're learned, and I knew that if I give a test to the whole class, my and they all fail, it's me. It's my instruction. I need to do something
I would
different,
guess. Yeah.
and a
It might be
couple.
mutual. There's three things we share with each other. We share mutual disease dynamic, your nonsense, my nonsense. We share neutrality and wrongness. Wrongness and sin are great words. Try to get that straight. But there's that. The negative, neutral, positive. Where's a battery? Well, there's a battery around here somewhere. The battery has a positive and the charge and the negative. And for a battery, you have to have both poles. And we all share the negative pole in distortion, which is the mutual disease dynamic, not pure negativity, sort of like grounding. That's good negativity. But a distorted negativity. If you hide your shadow, it just keeps getting worse, and you hide in prisons and hells of your own making. Don't do it. And then, I mean, we're going to do it anyway. So at least to be avowed to not do it and try again to remove the covering and tell the truth about all this unresolved stuff. And then the charge and the neutrality happens because of the negative and the positive talking to each other. There's positive electricity in the sky, there's negative electricity in the earth. We give good face so much that we live in a culture that denies the shadow, that denies the negative, that denies being wrong, that denies regrets, no shame, have you no shame, stuff like this. Anyhow, like with the classroom, okay, so there might be a mutual disease dynamic, like maybe they should have figured out to do this and this. And should's a fine word too. And
Yeah.
then, yeah. And then maybe you should have had a little foresight to realize they're on a different track. They have no idea about what's coming in the week with the test. So that's the mutual disease dynamic, which you have to be, like Hugh Len says, 100% responsible for, because you can't ask anybody else to be responsible for it. And then the neutrality dynamic, which, if it's clear and clean, will produce a charge, will produce magnetism, biomagnetism. And then the positive mutual dynamic. You have wonderful magic. I have wonderful magic. They have wonderful magic. And we both want food and water and safety and so forth. So those are the three kind of qualities that we all share.
Positive, negative, and grounding.
No,
Layman's
negative
terms.
is grounding. So just think of a battery, positive,
Yes.
negative, and neutral. But that neutral,
Neutral.
once we really say we're both independent souls and we're both on a journey in some sense, there's an alone individual aspect to it. So I don't have a claim on you. You don't have a claim on me. We're responsible for ourselves. Once we disentangle ourselves from the sea of psychic magnetism, then we will build up in biomagnetism. That the charge, the neutral, will become power, and you need power in life. Oh, lots
Yes.
of questions, please. I always
Yeah.
ask everybody, like, I have 3 questions ready for class, and then this kind of stuff,
Yes.
if there's any around, or for
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
let them fly.
Well, let's see. The luminous body,
Yes.
the soul retrieval process,
Mm.
and there's two. And I think I had an experience with the second one. The first one being that you're journeying on your timeline and you go back to your past to 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 heal.
Brad.
Or two, you travel forward on a timeline, accessing a destiny. Like I watched
Where did you get that? He said that?
yes, it
Yeah.
is. It's in the four modalities processes. One, illumination process. Two, working with intrusive energies. Three, the soul
No such
retrieval
thing.
process. And four, death rites.
Yes. All right, this
Well,
is all super advanced stuff.
well, yeah. However, the travel forward, like the other day, with um, I had like this. I don't know if I saw a glimpse of something like the property with Brent. I saw that if I didn't get rid of that, something was going to
Oh, you
happen.
absolutely have to change the ownership of that. You don't know
Yeah.
that? That has to happen
Yes.
yesterday. You have to deal
Yes,
with
and
it
it
then. Yeah.
did. I did it. I
Oh,
acted on that because I knew that I feel like whatever that means, I saw what could happen, not should, could happen,
sure.
and because I said I didn't know what I was going to do about the property. I was waiting for the answer, and it all happened in like a second. This picture, and I trusted it, and I feel so good. I feel like that last part that was weighing me down with him left. So the luminous body healing stuff, I I I want to continue that. Like I want it all out. I want to
Well,
heal
I'm your
completely.
guy.
I'm all in. Is what I'm saying.
I'm your guy. Now, here we go. Okay. Science points, data points. You have to be specific, write stuff down. This one will go on the YouTube, so you could go on the YouTube and replay it. But you could just take notes now too. All right, here we go. So the heart has a 40-foot field of measurable magnetism. First point of fact. All of these points lead us to an understanding about past, present, future. I'll explain. Every cell in the body has a north and south pole of magnetism. Electromagnetism is carried across the skin of the cell and communicates information to the bloodstream and back to the cell and programs the DNA. If you have a baby 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and you bring that baby to, you go and you move to a desert island with extreme winds before the baby's born, the baby will be born with thicker eyelids. So what's going on in environment is communicating through the skin of the cell and talking to the DNA and creating matter. So that's DNA, that's genetics. And what we're here to do is to upgrade the genetic legacy of the human genome. That's what your responsibility is around here. And to do that, the step one is just this endlessly terrifying process where you surrender to what is going on. I'll give you a case in point. So I watched this movie, Nobody, which is an extremely violent movie. And, you know, I have a strong warrior thing going on with me. It's just the way it is. I like it. But my wife, she's like the embodiment of a flower petal. So any single thing to do with the smallest conflict or the smallest whatever, forget it. So, you know, but I've said to her this morning, I said, oh my God, I had so much fun. Because, you know, we try to watch garden shows. And she had this one show on when another friend was over. And we were watching it. And it had this music in the background. And she was looking at lace and plates and shabby chic. I don't know if you know this thing, shabby chic.
Yes.
It's this. You do know what it is? Yeah. So about halfway through watching all this for a while with everybody, because I'm always hosting, you know, I said, I'm not sure what's worse, like some of the horrible tortures in Guantanamo Bay or this. I'm not sure. I think there's a challenge. But anyway, I tried to say to Lena, I said, oh my God, it was so great. This guy was the most gentle thing you ever saw in your life. And his home gets invaded. And the son tackles the one person that had the gun or something. And the father gets the club and he's about ready to hit the other person and he doesn't. And then the person hits the 14-year-old son. And now the son is ashamed of his father and everything else. And he wants to do a report for school. And they say you have to interview a military person. And the father said, well, I was an auditor. You know, maybe you should interview the grandfather or something. And the son, everybody at work, they're all ashamed. He's the meekest, tiniest little guy. He works as a garbage disposal, trash pickup, which is my dream job, I think, cleaning toilets. And he's just the smallest thing. And so then one day the little daughter girl, 5 years old, says, where's the bracelet? Where's my bracelet? And then she looks in the thing and she said, those people must have stolen it. And he snaps. And he goes and kills everybody. Because he was actually like Navy SEAL times 20, but nobody knew it. He was called an auditor. He was the last person in the line of CIA kind of killer people that kill bad people and all that. Anyway, so why I said all that is because the hidden resentment, the jealousy, the unrequited love to, hey, I'm 36, 37 years old now, and where's the guy, and where's the extra money, and where's the whatever. All of that hidden rage has to be turned into action. And that action is to look into the past, present, future by understanding what is here. So if you're connected with what is here and you recognize that sages and saints, not warriors, but sages and saints are the highest connection that you can possibly have, you realize this flashing sort of third eye thing because the bones in the nose sense magnetism and the third eye senses magnetism in the environment. That's scientific fact. So when you're able to remove the covering in the step one to all of the things that are unresolved, instead of having bad circumstance happen and go and getting into the corner of the room and crying again, you see the past, you see the present, you see the future, and you see the biological biography of your map. And what happens is energy streams into you. When energy streams into you, you can call your power back. You can see where there's an eddy or a bubble under a rock or a stuck thing that is caught in a fear or prison of its own making inside your body mind. And then you have to have conflict, which means introducing clarity to the awareness in your body of where it is that you lost your power, 5 years old, men, whatever, whatever, whatever. And as you reveal that and breathe into it, it's like opening the window to a stuffy room. You begin to change who and what you are to the degree that nobody's ever going to understand you, so forget that. But you're able to realize, oh my God, I was like a mystic all along. Everybody is. When I was 5 years old, I was 10 years old, and then something happened, and I began to objectify my perception, listening to mommy, daddy, sister, brother, and world in the negative sense of only getting things out here in order. And kind of doing that to the degree of forgetting about the internal world because there's no time for it. I have to feed the kids, I have to go to work, and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that if you include your inner world with your outer world, you'll get more done in less time than anybody. So this whole process of this 7 steps exactly is born from all these teachers. I've watched Luminous Body, who knows how many times, 100, 150. All of these things I've watched 150. That's my method. I'm on the dumb method of enlightenment. Press play. And I keep on pressing it. And once you start to see about this soul retrieval process, you'll realize that you're not able to be in contact with your internal body. There's too much stuff in there you don't want to see. And you don't feel safe. Sex and love, oh, now you'll remove the covering for 10 minutes or whatever it is, But the sex and love chemistry has to happen alone. That's the only hope it is to happen with somebody else. So how are you going to feel transparent enough? You must have not you as the governor of this process. You have Albert Velodo, and so forth and so forth. You have William, and so forth and so forth. You have the real deals, Yogananda, Great Light of God, Amici, and that's the hardest thing. I keep on trying to remember in my mind Amici exposure. Because when I got close to Amici, and I asked Lena the other day, I said, and she's the consummate scientist, right? I said, can you remember what Amici looked like? Because I know that once you get that close to her, you blank out. No matter who it is. She's that powerful. Her presence, her field, it's like you're entering some kind of a mystical thing. Sort of like people in love. But it's like a different dimension. And the closer in proximity you get to these people, the more exposed you are. So my new favorite thing is Ama exposure, because I was completely exposed for all my nonsense. And that's what we can't do. We can't remain exposed, remain transparent. So you have to strategize to do it. You have to get up at 5 a.m. There's no way out of that. I'm teaching a lot of people a long time. And I always see everybody go through all these things. And a lot of times it comes down to, you got to get up earlier. Because that's the only time your mind is still. If you do it late at night, your mind is not still like the same in the early morning. But all the minds are quiet in the early morning. So you're able to get to step 6, which is pre-process and print. The insides of desks, the merging with all people. You naturally will go where you're going before you go there if you are still. without movement, without thought. But to do that and to be able to move and shake in the world means that you have to remember all of your move and shake qualities and merge them with this secret stillness thing. Don't have them different worlds. Like externalize yourself so much that you lose your soul. Hold space so much that your insides don't have any energy. So you got to slow down, stop, and reverse the search. I don't know if I spoke to your questions there at all, but I was trying to tie
Yes,
together.
yes, yes, absolutely. Let's see what else I got.
Yeah, love questions.
Even like the smallest task, when like yesterday I was at school and I was like, oh, I have time, I'm going to make some of these copies and have those ready. Well, even just copying papers and counting them out and putting paper clips on them was different than it used to be. It was like, oh, it was fun and enjoyable and okay. I wasn't in my class, I was there in that room with the papers. I wasn't doing something anywhere else in my mind anywhere. So things like that are changing, and I
Uh,
love
a difficult thing to get to is the every breath, every step concept that's joined with a mantra or a word or a memory or a vision. So the idea is that if every supernatural sage and saint does that, then I guess we have to too. The student that was over here with the daughter the other day, who just had a little baby girl as well, by the way, I asked him if I could rent the little baby girl and me and Lena could hold her and send pictures to our parents.
it.
And he just had a little tiny baby girl. And since his
Did you
Cresco, huh?
did you do it?
No, no. I just kid all the time. He still
Yeah.
didn't name her, but I said, because it's Crestone, how about Zerelda Utopia Crestonia? Or Mary. Try Mary. I like normal myself.
Yeah.
So he said on a piece of paper, we were talking about what you're saying there, and he said the Enlightenment twist. So now I'll be using that because all the students are really my teachers. The Enlightenment twist, and it means turn every single action, every breath, every step into your process. Now, if you can get to the sage and the saint that's doing the mantra or the prayer, that's the best. But
Well, I'm
that's
listening
very
to those.
hard.
I listened to the mantras and the chants and the one you sent, and I have found
I
some
don't know what I
others.
sent.
Um, I can pull it up because I had it on earlier.
Just remember, it has to be an enlightened sage. It can't be a regular person saying "Om Mani
I,
Padme Hum."
right. This was I don't know how to say his name, and I know
Drabung
he's
Rinpoche,
thick. I
Garchi.
always thick.
Oh, Thich Nhat Hanh.
I always, how do you say it?
His friends call him Thai. I've done many retreats with him and all these people, but Thich Nhat Hanh,
Thick.
he's something else. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched there was a video you had on of a hungry ghost.
Ooh.
Yeah, I watched that. That was good.
So that ties into where you're losing your spirit, right?
Yes. And just that connection of what I got out of it the most was how we're all doing it. We're all the same. And that
Yeah.
helps me to have forgiveness for my mom and dad and for Brent and for myself. So when I hear and know that we don't know any better yet, now that I know I can't do those things I did. So the
But
other
you
thing
will
the other thing I listened to or I watched was Carolyn Mize.
miss, yeah.
Miss.
Mace is how, well,
No,
mace is how you really say it, but it's spelled miss. Yeah. But it's pronounced, it doesn't matter.
well,
Yeah.
it was similar to the luminous body, yet totally different words. So I really enjoyed listening to her also. Um, yeah, she was. and it made sense. Everything she was saying just made sense to me. And I went and I had a massage, a lomi lomi.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
So I went and had one of those done Monday. Yeah, Monday. And the interesting thing is, you know how I feel that I hold a lot of my trauma in my shoulder and shoulder blades? Well, when she was doing that area, her shoulder popped. I mean, it just popped.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Neither one of us said anything. At the end, though, she said, "Did you hear my shoulder when I started in on yours?" So my hope is to go at least once a month. I'd love to go every week. I can't do that. So that'll help. Just push it. And when she was rubbing, like pushing, I just kept saying, "Thank you, leave me. Thank you, get out." And those things helped me. So
Acupuncture and massage from the inside out is all of the inner teachings of Qigong, Tibetan Tumo, and yoga pranayama, which really has to do with energy. There's this nectar that's created in the mouth. In Tibetan Buddhism, it's called Dutsi, and Qigong is called golden pollen. In yoga, it's called Amrita. So what we're doing is we're developing such magnetic energy in the spine and brain and nerves inside the body mind that this stuff pops and opens like acupuncture does it from the outside in. This does it from the inside out. This is the final method, because if the factories that produce the stuck stuff are not resolved, then it doesn't matter what external solutions. The external solutions are a wonderful catalyst to opening and must be done. But the solution is inside out. So you find your spine and brain. Spine and brain is the altar of God. Yeah, spine and brain is altar of God. Um,
I thought maybe a chiropractor, just getting my
it's
body.
okay. It's only going to work once every couple months or a month to be a help. In the long run, none of it works. You have to have a jelly steel body
Yeah,
without doing a thing. You have to have the mind, the inner body mind of connectivity to this environment. So fearful clinging is these spots and lines of where you're losing power in your body mind. Okay, the body map. You'll see that the 7 steps model this whole thing. So if you're alone in a scene in nature, you're boundless. And when you're boundless, alone in a scene in nature, and energy rushes into you, that naturally is going to make the spine crack and the adjustments happen. So that's the solution. And then you have outside in catalysts to help. But the human mind only wants outside in, utterly addicted to outside in, every human mind. It's called grasping. I'm going to do something to get something. I'm going to have something done to me so that I can be opened up. But actually, it must be from a wellspring of life that is animating because of your connectivity in boundless space. So the power loss places that Velodo and Mace are talking about is that Scribbles map, the stuck spot map, and then the psychological correlations to that stuck spot map inside of your body mind. And what happens is once you get into the field of darshan, the energy of an enlightened master, all of this surgery starts to take place. They go in there and they do acupuncture and they do chiropractics and they animate dead cells and stuff like that. And you unbound your fearful clinging, your obsession, your addiction, so forth, and reunite with the vast expanse of nature's nourishing. So if you go on vacation and you have the long drive and your sight is boundless, you might not remember that you have to do that while you're talking to people, because that's the container of relationship. So once you realize that as a principle, I forgot. I forgot that I'm willfully rebellious. I forgot that I'm perpetuating negative emotion because I want to. I forgot that I have bad behaviors. I forgot stuff like this. You'll find the root to these point spots and lines, these blockages of where you're losing power. That's how Carolyn Mace talks about it, where you're losing power. And you'll see then that the power is streaming out of you, and it's being given to Brent, and it's being given to mommy, daddy, sister, brother, or whatever. And so you call your spirit back. You say, hey, wait a minute, that's my power.
Yeah.
And you return it to yourself. And the only person that can allow you to do that is a sage wannabe or a saint sage. Ordinary person can't do that because it's a different capacity. A good friend is on the way to that. But usually when you start doing that, you're going to draw so much power that nobody wants going to accept it anymore. They're going to start teaching you or whatever. So you have to have this great contact type of thing, which is reflected in a beautiful scene in nature. If you're in a beautiful scene in nature, let's say you're in the classroom and you've got a window right above your head and somehow you can transparently see all of nature and underneath you while you're there. You should do the class outside as much as they won't mind about, because you create trouble. It doesn't help anything. But once a month to go outside, walk outside, and do the class outside. I mean, come
I
on.
do have one whole wall is windows. So even though I'm not out, we go outside. We go outside every day unless it's below
Oh,
freezing.
recess. Have you got the same kids all day, morning to afternoon?
Yes. Well, they'll go to special area, but that's the only time I don't have them. So
Different
yeah,
grades or third grade or something, you say?
third grade all day. I get to meet them on Monday because they don't start school until Thursday.
And it's going to be all new people, third grade.
Yes, whole new group. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see that whole new group now
Mm-hmm.
because you're not preparing for the future over there. The future's not over there. The future's here. So one of the best hopes I have that allows me to have magic sometimes is that I seem to see the future a lot. Like my great new car that I love so much, even though it's not the super Lexus. You should have saw the super Lexus. And, I feel like I lost and, I'm a little sad about it. But this is a beautiful car. They didn't change the timing belt in this car. And then they said, well, we'll give you a discount. And I was madder than sin. I said, you mean to tell me you sold me a car that needs a $2,000 fix? And it's
No.
a used car, 130,000 miles on it? I said, that's unethical. I paid cash for 3 cars here. I paid cash for the Lexus. I paid $40,000 some cash for the Lexus. First you give me, anyway. And so long story short, the owner's going to fix it.
Good.
And, that's kind of unheard of. But now I've got to drive 4 hours to Boulder. So I'm already going over that trip a million different ways. I already see the owner in my mind's eye 40 different times. I already saw you 50 different times. It's not because I'm trying to see anything. It's just because of what's here. You have to be still. If you're still, then you know that Harry, who I bought three or two, I forget, 2, I think. I bought 2 beautiful Hondas there, one brand new for cash. And so Harry's been my maintenance guy for 20 some years. And the last one was a cross tour before the Lexus. Just a great car. And so I always bring everybody food. So what am I going to bring? Donuts? Of course, I dropped them all for the Lexus, right? But now I'm back. So what I'm saying is that seeing Harry, I stop traffic everywhere I go when I walk in the room. So what's that all about? Why is that? I need to be more humble always. Italian idiot. So Craig wants to meet me. He has no idea what I am, but I'm going to be completely. He's the integrity is this place is unbelievable with integrity, and they're really nice people, but they're bolder kind of Fruit Loops. They all don't have warrior feet. So my job now is I have to help them. I have to do my old job of going in there and giving everybody donuts. The whole place. So I got to have money for that. There's so many things. The sales guy who said absolutely the timing belt was replaced. The guy who shafted me on the cost for the Lexus, they all were in this big thing with me because if you're a big light, you're going to get into things sometimes. I'm hoping to avoid it forevermore, but I'm not there yet. So they're on the other side of the mirror. I have to clean them out for the sake of Craig, who's this nice, beautiful, bright and shiny, super tall, kind guy who owns a giant dealership. And he wants to meet with me personally, apologize, talk to me, make it. But he doesn't know it's going to be a lesson about meditation and how, I won't say this to him, but he lost some of his immaculate integrity with these couple of people that were silly with me. I had to get the guy, the mechanic guy, to say, how come the salesman's telling me that the timing belt is replaced? There's no way you can see it. Carrie went over to the sales guy and said, no, you can't tell him that. You can't see it. But I took a chance because 130,000 miles, certainly it had to have been changed, but it wasn't because the computers were down. So they couldn't check it. And then after I told them, you sold me 135,000 miles and there's no timing belt. And then they said, well, we'll give you a discount on getting it replaced. Remember the Nobody movie?
Yeah.
So I called this one and I called that one. I said, I'm certainly suing you, and so forth, so on. Of course, I told Lena that, and she said, I don't like that, but what are you going to do? All right, so my point here is that if you realize that your good spirit from the luminescent body, healing the luminous body, haven't seen that in a while, and so many different things are producing a magnetic heat of healing in your body mind, then when you do that, you're going to realize that the karma's not done. Mommy, daddy, sister, brother, society, Ukraine, Trump, Biden, whatever. It's all in your body mind. And you need to finally surrender to the energetic process of healing. Now, the energetic process of healing scientifically is positive electricity up here, negative electricity down there, negative ions in the earth, positive ions in the sky. So if you're alone in the scene in nature, you're boundless and connected with the nourishing of trees and flowers and waters and bare fur. And you have to meticulously recognize that you have a different awareness to do with the nourishments to your body mind when you're alone in nature as when you're talking to somebody. So you need to join those two things. When you do, you now have the positive pole of your body and you have the negative pole of your body, and you begin to charge up in biomagnetism. The hands of people who are accomplished in this kind of stuff have physically measurable hundreds of thousands of times more magnetism than an average person. Once you realize this magnetism, because you've surrendered to what's here, the biggest barrier is who's in the air. Mommy, daddy, sister, brother, Brad, school kids, children, so forth, so forth, so forth, so forth, neighbors. That's what's here. So once your eyes change direction because you feel like you're safe, now you're like the same as alone in a scene in nature, but you're not trying to get away from people. You include people in your awareness, and it's very difficult to live exposed like that. That's why I stay in the Amma exposure thing. Because I want to be healed. I want to slow the aging. And so to do that, I've got to find out a way to stay close to that kind of immaculate presence.
And that comes from practice and getting up at 5 in the morning and
You press play
right.
on an enlightened master, Amici, Garchin Rinpoche. I'll send the Guru folder. Did I? I probably sent it to you already.
I'm making my way through the vault. Um,
Good luck.
yeah, so I'm not sure if it's in there, but
Yeah,
I
it's in there. If you've got the vault, just find
yeah,
Gurus.
okay. Yeah,
So
I'm on
Gurus,
Biography of a Yogi now. So that's
the
kind of
audio.
yeah, the audio. I couldn't
Oh
find
my
an
God, this woman.
actual book. I did look on Amazon and I thought, well, let me check the vault, and there it was.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
think the book is there too, in there. If not, you can find the book easy free online.
yeah, yeah, I did see it, but I don't mind listening to it. I can just put it in my
I
earbuds
love
and
it. Oh my
yeah.
God. What? How many chapters you get to?
Well, I just started that one, so two. I mean, just two. I'm on chapter two, the
Wow.
introduction. I did well the preface and the chapter one.
You got to make it to chapter 7. The greater that the teaching is, the more that all they do is say nothing for the longest time, just to get your attention to see if you'll play.
Okay.
But that book, once it hits 5, 6, 7, it totally changes. Most everybody says, "Yeah, I bought that book and I read like 3, 4 chapters. I never finished it." Almost everybody has that feedback.
Okay.
It's a test.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll finish it for sure. Let's see what else I got here. I've been practicing my breathing.
Oh, good.
Yes. And I'm definitely press and play. Surrendering, practicing surrendering. So one thing I did find myself doing as I've been back around other teachers, I do, I guess it's that competitive, not competitive. Maybe it is competitive. I don't know what it's called. I don't even know why I try to name it. Just that feeling of, oh, I'm probably too much energy. What are they thinking? I still not as much. It's changed definitely, yet it's still there. I don't want to do that. I don't want to care what they're thinking. I care deeply. I care so deeply, yet I don't want to care. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to even think about it because it's too much.
Well, you're the yin. You're the yin. They're the yang. You're the yin. And so your yin has always been protected by, let me bring up my power and dazzle you a bit. But that's a protection mechanism. That's not an overflow of energy, a squeeze. It's a squeeze. So the reality of the Amaji purifier is, um, it's like some kind of a mist or something. That's what I'm going to turn into. I'm going to turn into the male version of the Amachi. Some kind of a mystical, it's almost like a mist. You get near somebody that is steeped in love, and it's just a different world. It's a different dimension, and they dance to your tune. You don't dance to their tune because there's a war for entrainment all the time. Who's going to be president? Who's going to who give the book report? Who's going to get the attention and who's going to get the energy? All the time is going on in the physical world. So what you do is no investment, no return. You invest your time, money, energy, whatever, into pressing the play or getting a book, the Amici, something, courses like this, and make that primary. And then you're going to get the return of that kind of a presence that creates more spaciousness and timelessness, so you don't have to react to the other person. Like the Nobody movie, I kind of want to apologize about my martial art references, but it's just part of what I am. Um, when Benjamin, the fighter guy, who's now doing the hook ceremony for the Native American,
Okay.
where this is like the 10th time he's done it. Right now, he's dancing around a tree with hooks in his chest for 4 days straight.
Yeah.
And The difference between him and I in terms of healing or in terms of fighting is that I'm sitting here. He's out there. So you can't you can't challenge a person that's in there, because if someone that you know wants some healing from you, let's say, if you give them the opportunity and kind of are still and you allow them to talk and so forth, then when you wave your magic hand of healing on them, it's from your own square. So in the fighting analysis, the punch is not over there. To be afraid of the punch means to be afraid here, not to be afraid of it over there. Benjamin's afraid of the punch over there, so he has external power. I'm afraid of the punch in here, and I recognize that I'm vulnerable, that I have wrong, that wrong is going to get hit, and so forth. So I have internal power. But he's so scared he can't have much internal power, even though he's a champion, fighter. But if I raise my hand, he's going to shudder, because this is the way it is. And that's what allows me the authority to teach these young guys a lot of times, because it's just different. So what I'm getting at is that the temptation to, well, let's go to the Honda Acura place. So the temptation for me to be somebody and say something is always worse, because I'm so horribly insecure. So, did you know I wrote 14 books? Did you know I'm a martial art master? Which is a total joke. Did you know that I got abilities? That's what I want to say to people, which means I'm a complete idiot. So, so I really got to remember that I'm nobody special, and that I've got to be grounded in the fact that I am subject to the authority of other people. I can have discernment, but since other people are always pointing fingers and saying and knowing and doing, then I have no choice because I'm not doing that. I'm undoing all the time. But other people, cars, people everywhere, Craig at the dealership and Harry, all they're doing is saying, listen to me, William, I can help you. We're going to do the $2,000 job, $2,400 job for free for you. Be grateful. We are doing this because we're great people. I mean, that's a bit much to be mean, but basically the ball's in their court. So the ball is always in the other person's court. I don't care who I'm talking to. So I figured that out. Okay, and I don't. Okay, I will accept this, and even though it causes me some discomfort, I will accept it. So what happens is then you become like in this Amaji type of mystical perception. All your beauty, all your magic, all of your love, all of your childhood magic, all of these children's childhood magic, it's all protected by void. Because you're not seeking to say anything or do anything or know anybody, or you're just seeking to do your job. My job is to go in there at the dealership, drive there, drive home safe, give everybody food, and be very small and very simple. And in that, they learn about healing and meditation, and the air stops and everything, and they have no idea that I did it. And to remain that I have so many issues, they should start a school of psychiatric healing after me. You understand? So this is how you have such spaciousness inside that when the lady projects with a lot of young power, like Benjamin with his fighting, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Why are you so scared? You really want to go into a ring and fight everybody all the time? Is that what's going to solve your emotional problems? You mean to be able to? So I won't teach the martial arts anymore. I decided, although I really want to because I got a lot of secrets. But I'm over it, you guys. I'm over it. I was scared doing that so long, so many years now. It's just not the thing. So much time, so much fear, so much energy. Why don't you put that into how to meditate or how to be a better person or something like that. So this is the same issue. Rather than having to defend ourselves, or to be somebody or to hold our space, you can actually just run away with the prize. Because of every breath and every step, people will be like, wow, she's so much calmer now. And then if you have to say something or take action, like I did with that dealership, I was very precise and very exact on their bad behavior. I mean, I didn't pull one punch, and I called 10 people in a half a minute. Every car dealership, every person that's in administration at the place. And I explained exactly what happened. I explained that every dealership says that's unethical. I explained that I'm certainly suing you. In other words, when the person really, they'll define themselves because you're a nice gal and you just want to do a nice job and you just want to clean out your stuff and not be bothered by the kind of power struggle games for who's the best teacher and the rest of it. And that'll demonstrate itself by your behavior. But your behavior has to be steeped in every breath, every step. I don't know. This is all I have is this stuff. I don't really know anything else.
Yeah, I love it. Like a sponge to it.
I'm glad.
Mhm.
So every day's meditation has to be deeper than the previous day. And the great lesson for everybody is you must extend your breath. Because once you get the darshan, somehow something works. You'll notice how boring Alberto Velodo gets after three viewings. In the next year, you're like, well, I don't know, it doesn't quite work. So you got to keep on looking and go back to the classics and remember defending your life and become steeped. But the idea is that once inspiration has taken its effect and you're in this meditative atmosphere, now you have to follow the rules of the game, which is non-cognitive. So step one is remove the covering, find out where you're losing your power, call back your spirit, go to war. All this kind of stuff is part of what step one is. You got to engage the fight for yourself now. No time left around here. And so you rattle your cages. That's another giant missing ingredient for everybody is the fight. There's always going to be fight in the world of form. So you have to find out where it is you're stuck in suppression and you're losing your power, and you have to burn the leeches off. You have to fight off this stuff. If a predator challenges you to a fight, you must not disappoint them. And there's always that kind of thing going on, and we'll always have a guilty role in it. All right, so that's step one, right? So you breathe into it and go forward. Now, you're pressing play somewhere, and the pressing play has nothing to do with fight, exactly the opposite. Now you have prayers. Lokaham samastaham sukhino bhavantu. Lokaham samastaham sukhino bhavantu. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. From every tradition, all these people that have extraordinary intelligence and ability. Amma asked Lena, the people, what language she is, and then she spoke to her in her language. You know how many languages she does that for? How about like 50? So it's beyond genius. A real sage, a real saint, is the step beyond genius. Genius is subject-object analysis. Sage saint is something real, and when you find out about it, like love, you allow yourself to surrender to being ministered onto. They all do prayers, they all do mantras, they all do pilgrimages, vision quests. Like Benjamin's on a vision quest right now, and doing the hooks thing and all that. And when he comes back, I hope to intercede for him and say, okay, now don't take the power for your great external fight and you're mad at everybody and you criticize everybody all the time. Fight yourself. The external fight is part of life, but it's not the main part. It's fight yourself. The reason that there's wars and demons in the world is because we don't face our own wars. In step 2, the breath must become longer. You say some prayers. You have the Amici going. You have something. There's so many wonderful options that are unique. There's what's the name of that? Ramana Maharshi, and he's got a video called If you go into the vault and type in Ramana Maharshi, maybe you'll find it there.
How do you
He's
spell that, or the beginning of it? How do you spell the beginning?
RAM. Where's my phone? INA.
Okay.
Ramana Maharshi. Maharshi means great seer.
Okay. I'll
I think
find.
it's I am that. Let me see. Pardon me one sec. Ramana Maharshi videos. Mm-hmm. Well, you get the idea. He has this talk about the highest stage of Zen, the highest stage of all traditions. Tibetan Buddhism, yoga, Qigong is non-duality. So when we get into step 2 now, we're starting to give up the conflict and the fight and surrendering. But if you didn't do some of this step 1 stuff of recognizing where you're losing power and all, that's all conflict stuff. If you didn't do that, recognizing where you have to land your spaceship and take your stand, just your own personal stand. You don't have to stand out there, just stand where you are, find your roots and so forth. Now, in step 2, you're going towards non-duality. You're going towards the mystery, behind the veil, behind the scenes of environment. In every tradition, non-duality is the source. In Judaic tradition, Christian tradition, Islamic tradition, all of those, Abrahamic tradition, that non-duality kind of thing. So the mind becomes very, very calm, and the breath lengthens more and more and more. And now put your hands together like this.
Okay.
And now we're going to just a little bow to the sky and the stars. And now open up to the sky and the stars above you and be receptive with your head. Don't output any energy with your head. Be receptive with your head and bring it in and down through your body. Inner looking, inner listening. Soften your heart. Down through the heart, through the body, into the earth. Prayer hands. The support that you have for your magic field is from nature. When you're in this world, you begin to connect with the inside of trees, the inside of mountains, the inside of animals, bear fur, dolphins, eagles soaring. Open up to all these things like this. How many of these nourishments, and make sure you include this in your routines from now on, how many of these nourishments can you include at the same time inside your body mind? Texture of water, walking on an ocean. You have to co-process all these things at the same time. Bring it into your head. It's okay. And then bring it down through your face. Inner looking, inner listening. Swallow down. The heart is a gland as well as an organ. You know that? So the heart produces nectar. Produce that nectar. Revive your love for yourself. Nothing to do with an object or a person. Bring it down through your body, through the earth.
Can I just breathe normal, or do I need to do my breathing? Like,
Just breathe however you like. Okay. We're going to go over the breathing in a while. Longer breathing now. So no matter who I teach to get them to breathe long, it's impossible. I don't know what I'm going to do, what I have to do. I can't believe it, but pretty much no matter who it is.
Change the standard.
I have to change the standard. I don't know what to do.
No more breathing long.
Oh, no, we're not doing that change. Because what happens is once you start to get the vibe, once you get the feeling and you start to get some healing, Now you're going to check out. You're going to go into the brain. You're going to go into intellect. You're going to go into sleep. You're going to go into dreaming. You're going to go into la-la stuff, New Age Fruit Loopy land. We don't do that here. That's what the martial is. That's what the toughness is. You've got to be right here where you are. Every single person that you know in your life. Monday morning. New children Monday morning. You got to be right here with them, and you got to lengthen your breath because you got to lengthen your attention span. Prayer hands, and now to the earth underneath you. Soil, magma, center of the earth. I always imagine that there's these timekeepers at the center of the earth, and when I touch them, all time stops and reverses. So I don't know if you like that, but gather in from the center of the earth. So you open up and then gather in. Gather in from the center of the earth, from the magma, from the soil, from the teeming beetles and worms and whatever. Connect with all these life forms underneath the earth there. And now touch your head. And now bring the energy down through your head, through the center of your body, and bring down through the front. Soften your chest into receptivity. All the way down, all the way down through, all the way down through, all the way down through. In all the traditions, you reach the bones to soak the bones. So as you begin to have these nourishments from nature, you start to see the stars, because the stars are here too. Prayer hands. Oh, did you see the document about all the statistics to do with the stars? I think I included that for you in that document.
I'm not sure. The luminous body connected a little bit to the stars.
Let me see if I can find it.
I did watch the Celestine Prophecy too. Yeah.
Did you like it? It's a little kind of dark, maybe somehow, but.
And then Louise Hay, she even referenced that movie or the book. I
She
guess it was a
she
book.
did? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's back. She does a mind, body, spirit like references,
Oh,
books, foods, behaviors, and that Celestine Prophecy was one for spirit. And so was the autobiography of a yogi. So
she has that in there? Wow. Extra 30
yes.
points for Louise Hay.
Yeah.
She healed
Yeah.
herself of cancer, too.
Yeah, I was reading that. I didn't know she had it. She says that the majority of the time when it's cancer, it's from a long stem of resentment. And I was thinking about the people that I've known that have suffered from cancer. That
Yeah.
made sense.
Yeah.
So that motivates me. I don't want to be resentful, not because of the cancer, but just because it's so bad. And I like myself, and I don't want to have that in me.
Well, the first step then is recognizing I will never not be resentful. That is the key. That's the key to this whole thing.
Which means it'll come. Just let it come and
It's
go.
part of what you are, and it's causing your aging, diseasing, and death.
I
And
don't.
you have no escape.
I don't have to live in it, though, right?
Well, this is advanced stuff. We'll see how it goes. You have no choice. You will live in it, and it will kill you.
Okay.
Sounds like Lena. I was saying this morning. I talk about men and women all the time. I just like it. I got to protect myself, and so I said, but it's like the woman honey pies. I said, I say, and then you go, okay.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Well, let me explain. The only reason, in my opinion, which we know about opinions, that we're aging is because of negative emotion. I believe that if we could transmute negative emotion, we wouldn't age. That's my belief. So for you to think that you're going to be free from resentment or negative emotion is dissociative, period. Now, if you accept that, now you're talking master person. If you can't accept it, then you're going to have problems. So if you want to have less problems, the reason I have some little bit of unique martial abilities because I realize I'm vulnerable. I realize if Ben hit me with one thing, he's 6'6" MMA champion. If he hit me with one leg kick this strong at the wrong moment, he's just going to break my leg. That's how strong a professional fighter is. You can't be a 57, soon to be 58-year-old guy or anybody and it doesn't have that training, a Navy SEAL. You'll be destroyed. A professional soldier, MMA, will beat you mercilessly. So the recognition from the secret sauce of my life is that I'm vulnerable. I have negative emotion. I have sin. I have wrongness. I have distortion. That's the secret sauce. So then when the projection of the mind of Ben comes forward to try to test me, I swallow him. Because his projection is only showing me where I'm weak. A pointing finger can't be wrong. You can't point your finger at me and be wrong. If you got mad at me and you point your finger at me, are you gonna be wrong? I don't think so. Anybody can point the finger at anybody else, and that's what makes nuts, though, is that you point the finger at the other people and you forget about yourself. 3 fingers pointing back kind of thing. So the secret sauce to being healed is to recognize you're not going to be healed. I mean, if you figure out to become Babaji and to become immortal and all that, please let me sign up for your class.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we're going to understand that actually we are aging and actually we do have issues. If you just accept this for just pretend and play with me for a moment and accept that those are facts and that you're aging and so forth and negative circumstances in life is related to your own wrong decisions and negative behaviors and resentment. If you can accept that that's true, that your aging is related to those things, then you can see you still have stuff to work on. Now we're talking miracle land. Now, if I turn my attention to Ben with the slightest little secret little attacks that I have, he'll get hurt without me even touching him. Because I repented of what he is telling the truth about, whether it's Satan or whoever. They're not going to be wrong if they point the finger. So then you go into this process of personal cleaning, like Hugh Len. I don't know. I don't understand. My job is only to do the cleaning. Why is it that now I show up in this moment, once again, having no solution for a student? To tell the truth, with all of my magic, that I have no solution. I don't have any education. I really have nothing to offer. In that humility, you're drawn out. As soon as you're drawn out, I can wave my hand and heal your life. Because your drawing out goes into void. Just like Benjamin with the punch. His inability to see his own stuff and my ability to see my own stuff makes me to be able to have this experience of where the projection. Oh, okay.
Sorry for a second. Lil and
Oh,
Michael
that's
just.
fine. Hi, Lil.
Hi, Lil.
It's a beautiful name. It's very flower-like, for sure.
Yeah. Lillian McCartney is her full name.
That's a great name.
Yeah. Named after Sir Paul.
Lil, you should see the flowers in my garden. Holy Moses.
Are the mosquitoes still crazy
They're
down there?
still giant.
Wow.
So this is what happens when we enter into the second phase of personal healing. First, we return our attention to ourselves and we say, well, I'm responsible for myself. I don't know so much. I don't have any particular answers. And then we just sort of follow direction and go into this long breathing. When we go into the long breathing, everybody grounds. Anybody connected to us, the ride, the path to the dealership, the communication with Harry, the giving out of pizza, or I think I'll get him a pizza if I can. I'll bring him 2 pizzas, $50, $40. It's already grounded already. Everybody's grounded when you're grounded. And you have to have that magnetic energy.
Excuse me.
That magnetic energy is what you move with your mind to look inside your body mind and see the codependent relationship with other people. Very difficult to pull back your power from codependent relationship with other people. I have to be like, I could lose my job. Not really. Because if you get entrusted with the power of environment, then you can choose what you want. If you have so much humility right now that everybody in your life projects to you, because that's what spaciousness is going to, that's what the master sage woman gets to have happen, is that as soon as you're very spacious and timeless in the inside of yourself, then, hey, Mom, is there any lunch meat left? Immediately, they're coming. So in that projection, if you can give a pizza or you can whatever, now you're in the giving end of the relationship. And if you can actualize that genuinely, the other person now is faced with a choice. Am I going to behave nice with her or not? And if they don't, then, mirror effect takes place. In step 2, you find these different points of contact. You got all these different movies that you can remember now. You got these different words. You got the Ramana Maharshi, which is a new kind of thing. It's the voice of no process, no training, no teaching, no teacher. That's step 3 stuff. Nothing that needs to be taught. You can sense the dynamics between you and other people that are on your mind like a rubber band. You can see how there's this rubber band thing going on. And then you say, well, where is the cause of that inside of me? And then you allow the teaching to minister to that area like surgery. So you have the surgery now, you don't get the surgery later, hopefully, maybe. So we're all aging. We're all going to die of a disease. So that's not a question. We all would need intervention of doctors and so forth at some point. So the idea is, how can you beat that game, right? You don't want to ever be sick. You don't want to ever. I told you about the lady who had the cancer and she got healed of the cancer. And then there was an outdoor music venue and she yelled across the dance floor, "There's the guy that healed me of cancer." Okay. So to have this kind of intervention, I think that we're surrendered to letting this idea of what's beyond the mind takes place. That's step 3. Step 3 is you're beyond body and mind, but yet inclusive of it. You can see the observer in the cells of your body, not the content of the information. There's informational magnetism everywhere. We know that. Only a quiet mind has access to the sea of psychic magnetism. To have a quiet mind and be still is nearly impossible. for most people, because the only hope that they have is some kind of strategizing. I've learned as a principle that if I really need to strategize, then the key to do that is to not strategize. Let's wash the field. Put your hand like this and just wash the field all around you in your other hand. Because in between you and other people, there's this cavity of space. And inside of that space are all the communications taking place. Now, the pigeon goes in a box 1,000 miles away and comes back to the same place. That's because he has that precise of an awareness of the fields of informational magnetism. So this is a sea of psychic magnetism. And this has nothing to do with anybody else. And we have to wash our location in space-time, because you're sitting on a piece of space-time. 1 teaspoon of a neutron star weighs 50 billion tons. That's the kind of gravity you have to develop by being surrendered. If you're surrendered to all of these sights and all of these sounds and all of these people, you gather more energy. So when you gather more energy, because it's given to you, because it's all projecting, you become more weighty. You'll get more weight, just like a planet sitting on a piece of space-time. So that's what creates gravity. A planet sits on a piece of space-time. If the planet is heavier, it bends space-time more. When it bends space-time more, time slows down. A clock at the top of the Empire State Building physically moves faster than a clock at the bottom, because the clock at the bottom has more gravity in microseconds. If you physically were able to be inside of the field of, say, a neutron star, time would move so slow it's silly. The weight of an object, the mass of an object, the greater it is, the more it slows down space-time. The actual physical clicking of the seconds on a clock. This is hard science, not new. I don't do New Age science. Hard science. If you also move around a stationary object, let's say that you're able to move fast around that neighborhood in a light ship, and you're able to circle around it. You're moving fast and the neighborhood is still. Your time is slower. So let's say you do it for a year or something. You come back, everybody's aged 10 years, you age 1 year. That's a physical scientific fact. It has nothing to do with your biological rhythms. It has to do with this thing called space-time in physics. E equals mc squared. Energy and light is the same thing, and matter. Energy and light and matter is the same thing. So light matters. You need to get back to your luminous body, because you'll find that what you really are is a bunch of magnetic impressions in your cells, in your genes, that are causing particular physiology, particular behavioral inclinations. All of this stuff is programmed from genetics and from life experience. And it's a bunch of codes, just like a computer. If you stop identifying with the outer world as being the source of the outer world, but you start identifying with the truth that everything's made of energy, kind of a deal, you can sense the impressions in other people and in your body mind in such a way that time stops. When time stops, for your experience, which happens in tragic moments and in wonderful moments. So we're going to instill wonderful moments to saturate the tragic moments and transmute them so we're safer, happier, healthier, wealthier. You're going to choose to have a wonderful moment. And in that choice, you'll be turned on, outside the box, clear mind, peace of mind instead of thought, physically invigorated. And that has a ripple effect. When you're in this kind of experience, like watching a movie, you can see the past and you can see the probable or potential futures. And you can see who's in touch with me and why. What are their intentions? So now please lengthen your breath until you experience natural pauses. Sensing nasal airflow, Buddha's meditation technique. It activates the sphenoid bones. That absorbs magnetism from the ear. Magnetite-bearing tissue at the root of the nose. This is the science of the luminous body on a physical, tangible level. Magnetite-bearing tissue senses and absorbs magnetism from the air. Where is it? Third eye. You should have a magnetic pull at your third eye if you have this going right. Amrita, battery mouth, sweet taste in the mouth, battery
I
sensation like
feel
the
it
9-volt
here
battery thing. Salivation,
in this
body.
area.
Hmm?
Oh, I feel it in this area right here.
Ooh,
Not here yet.
that's okay. Is that new or is that an experience you had in your life?
I've had. It's not new. It's new since I've met you. Yes, but not
Well,
new today, this moment. But
okay.
yes,
But
more in here. Yeah,
all right.
and heat in here. I'm feeling more heat and more things that I'm not saying, oh, something's wrong with me. I'm
Right.
embracing those feelings of things moving, like, oh, this isn't a bad feeling. It's okay. I'm accepting. I don't know what I'm doing.
We go into pronoia instead of paranoia. Whether we live or die, you go into pronoia instead of paranoia. Everything's got a reason. I believe God. I believe life.
Yeah.
Whether I live or die, whether it's awful or great, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm only doing, I believe that I'm being healed, no matter what
Yes.
the appearance looks like. So now the
Yes.
magnetic energy has to go from the surface of the body, which is the first experience, into the bones, which is the theme for today I've written down, which I'm doing in my mind behind the scenes. Bone marrowing.
Ooh, I like that.
You have to reach the bones. You have to have an experience of your bones. So begin to breathe with your skeleton now and bring that magnetic healing feeling and all that stuff down, 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 down. And find deep rest like you're in deep sleep. Sweet taste in the mouth, heavy body, super long breath that pauses now and then. This is the meditative state, which is the access to subconscious and superconscious processing power. This is the genius. This is the Olympian before they deliver. This is the great mom before they give the sandwich. This is the great teacher before they say, hi, my name is Jennifer. It's the inner motion of preparation. It's the drawing of the bow. Everybody's worried about action. Master person is worried about non-action. They don't believe in action. Action does it like itself, like the most action you ever saw anywhere. Most intelligent, most precise, most powerful. So they're not worried about action. They're worried about how can I forget it all. Long breath, long breath. One tiny atom, helpless I float in this infinite universe. Come to me, my dearest Lord, comfort me today. Once you have a body mind, you connect with earth and sky, and you see cosmic energy then too. Spiritual reality should be coming up soon. That's a rock star thing if you didn't see it yet.
Not yet.
Oh, that's fun. It's an animation, a little funny towards the end, but I think
Okay.
it's the best overall meditation instruction that I've seen so far. It's really very
Nice.
well done. One of the
Yeah.
things it says in there is that thoughts are the stumbling block to meditation and to getting cosmic energy. So how can you experience feeling peace of mind without thought? The head is like a stuck waterfall. It has to be released by something making you feel safe. And once that happens, you're going to be afraid of him, her, this, that, and whatever, because you're exposed. That's what's going to happen, because now you don't have this covering of the cortex talking about everybody, keeping everybody out. So as soon as you feel safe, you're going to drop the cortex, and now you're going to see mommy, daddy, sister, brother, this and this and this and this. But you're going to descend. The waterfall's unplugged now. So the waterfall is going to go down through the body, and your body's going to fill up, and you're going to couple with the earth. You're going to become connected with the earth, and you can become connected with the lightning that's in the air. You know, that's what produces the energy that's in the air. One
Well,
lightning strike goes around the entire earth.
we had 2 storms this week, severe thunderstorms, lightning like I've never seen it. And even
Wow.
driving and sitting here out in the garage, just unbelievable. And I felt it. Like it just lit up the whole sky.
You feel it in the
So
body, huh?
yes, and like in my yes, yes, I felt it.
How about like the center line of the body, the guts, the groin, the heart, the feet, a lot of that too? Because you have so much beauty head energy that I am concerned. I want you to have more body energy.
Yeah, I need it. It's way more blocked than I knew. I'm
Okay.
like, oh, it's in my shoulder, it's in my hips. No, it's
Everywhere.
like it's from my throat down.
I think for everybody, this is the truth. So when I'm talking and walking around, I notice nobody has a body. Everybody's got a head. And I notice that people don't have any awareness of their feet. Of course, I'm talking about myself, but awareness of the feet and awareness of the earth. And seeing that, that's why it's great to teach other people, because, you figure stuff out. This idea of every step and every breath, no matter what anybody else does, is something I would really like to continue with. So when you touch the earth with your mind, it's like touching the wire of your person to the ground. Every building has a ground wire. That house has a ground wire. So if lightning gets near the house, it goes through. This has excessive electricity for all human beings, like sunflowers blooming so much. The sunflower is just starting to bloom. They're pulling up the roots, the human being. So you've got to make sure that you reconnect, you retap the earth to join with this person called the earth, which is the source of your life. And then one lightning strike is called Schumann resonance. One lightning strike that hits the earth, it goes up to the ionosphere, then it goes back down. It continues to dissipate in strength. It goes around the whole earth, one lightning strike, in a flash. The accumulated average energy of these lightning strikes is called Schumann resonance. An enlightened person scientifically is proven to have awareness of the energy that's in the air that's caused by lightning. The energy that's in the air of your environment right now is called Schumann resonance. Now
Mhm.
yeah, Schumann resonance is a big deal for enlightenment stuff. Schumann coupling means that you are in the place of being one with nature while you're talking to people. You remember the roof above the school and the earth underneath the school. You remember the flower and get a relationship with the flower through the window, wherever it is, right, left, forward, back, and you reconnect all the time. There's a guy named Eric Pearl. You'll love this book. It's called The Reconnection. Eric Pearl. And in the little movie, I don't know what movie that is. I lose it over the years. I think it's Beyond Belief or something. But he he talks about how this person who his hands are like this, little boy, comes to him and he starts to like do a little healing treatment, on the boys. And he says that miracles happen, undeniably, miracles happen. And he said, when I saw those boys' arms straightened out, and he told his mommy, mommy, look at these things, you know. And his old deal is to do with the reconnection. Will reconnect with the earth underneath and the sky above and the cosmic energy and the Schumann resonance out here in the environment. When you're connected with the sky above and the earth underneath and the trees and the elephants, and you just constantly remember what's here, uh, you have access to the Schumann resonance. So it's called Schumann coupling. It means that your magnetic energy pulses in harmony with the pulsation of Schumann energy and environment. And what's the pulsation? 7 hertz. That's the average pulsation. 7 hertz
That
is alpha waves.
7.
7 hertz. 7 hertz is alpha waves, and it's what you need to begin to going into meditation. Most people only beta. There's only beta day and night. Frenetic, manic, all of us, beta addiction, compulsion, thought. When you start to get into the car and go on the long drive, or you get into the airplane, you start to go into alpha, creative dreaming. That's alpha waves. So the same kind of frequency of energy you need for your brain is the same kind of energy that's pulsing in the environment around you. But since we're stuck in our heads, we don't have any awareness of this energy. Unless you're alone in the scene in nature, then you got it. You have to do it with people, all the people in your life, past, present, future. So nature is the container of relationship, and you've got to reconnect, like Eric Pearl says, to soul, to God, to something. Teaching and teacher. You find teaching and teachers, and you be a student, and you leave it alone. One main thing that nobody wants to do. They can't say, I'm subject to this teaching and this teacher for some reason, and they can't do it. So teaching and teachers like Amici, they give you a chocolate, and they give you this, and they give you that, and that's all they can do. But if I could, if we could find a way to actually like maybe do what they're saying or something, it's just very wonderful. In step 3, we have this experience of no breath and no thought. Soulgasm. You have no breath, no thought, and you welled up in so much good energy, and that energy is not on the surface of you. And you're not afraid to let people in because it's all under your mentorship, your guidance of what you're doing with people. So you don't have fear of letting people in. Teachers and teachers especially, because guru, enlightened people, because it's your immaculate soul that's defining this program. Nobody else. You're sovereign. Yes, no, maybe at any moment for any teaching teacher, whatever. But over the years, you begin to construct the University of Enlightenment for yourself. And you begin to have enlightenment coaches in your life. And you realize you're not equal to them. I don't care what you do. That's the weird thing, this subjectiveness to like, I'm not going to become that. I don't know how to do that. So it's a great confusion, but that's what allows the power to come into you. In step 4, you come back from a magic moment, and in that magic moment, you land. Just like when the airplane lands or when you land home. It's a very heavying thing. That's the step 4. Step 5 is now you're blooming again, like you did with the meditation, only tangibly. These trees in this neighborhood, these pictures in my room here, these outlining objects in my classroom, these parking spaces in the parking lot, these people specifically and their psychologies and their inclinations. Yeah. So you become physically unbounded in the face of other people. And that, of course, you're still in meditation, that's going to bring you this pre-processing, which is the step 6. So now you have so much help and energy and good things and clarity going on in your body mind. You start to see, well, I'm going to go see Lily in a little while. So naturally, there's pre-processing. And when there's this pre-processing, you can define a new future for everybody. I'm going to make a pizza or whatever. So if you don't see the pre-processing kind of stuff, then you're not still. That's step 6. That happens as the last thing before you go into the world. The last personal meditation experience. Where's the water fountains in the school? Where's what's been going on with Lily lately? You know all this stuff because now you're here. To be able to do this and to allow this pre-processing, pre-influencing, pre-standing your ground, pre-submitting yourself, pre-giving what you can. Each step, is kind of an infinite thing. This last step is what changes your life. but it's precedented by the other steps. And the steps model what happens to a person when their life is being healed in a little microcosm. Well, that's a basic idea. Step 7 is sweep the floor, give the guy the pizza, whatever. All right, how about some questions, comments before we close out? Babaji.
Babaji, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I say all the time. That's the number one guru in all history.
Well, I tried to listen, or it was a video. I couldn't. It's not for me yet because I just couldn't hardly understand what he was saying.
There's so many videos.
Yeah, now and I thought, well, maybe I just need a break. I'll try it again another time. So I'm that Babaji has eluded me, and it wasn't until my trip to Crestone that I ever heard of him. And I'm like, how did this? No, you said he was the oldest.
That's
Is
the number one. That's like Jesus and Buddha times 20.
Yeah, like how did I miss him? So it's like he's hiding, not he's hiding. I don't know what I'm saying. It's like it hasn't been brought to me, and when it has, it's like not yet. So I don't know. Maybe that's I don't know. I don't know
It's a
anything.
real nothing burger.
Yeah,
Babaji.
I know. I know. So when you said that, that's what it reminded me of is that video and how I didn't watch that yet. I
His
tried.
history is that he appears and disappears for 2,000 years, and there's all kinds of fake Babajis and terrible videos about him. But the real one that's in the autobiography of a yogi is quite mind-blowing, but it has the ring of authenticity you'll find, I think, after you read enough of the autobiography of a yogi. And if
Okay.
you're steeped enough in this stuff, you'll see that miracles are ordinary, they happen, and it's like another world. And the only people that get to them and get to have firsthand experiences of them are the surrendered people. The ones that it's no longer like the Jesus says in the Bible or Paul says in the Bible, uh, I live, yet not me, but Christ lives through me. When these ideas start functioning a little bit and we have that kind of surrender to the personal ego, more possibilities happen with that stuff.
Yeah. So I figured it was just best saved probably for a later time. So yeah. But that's about it. I'm
Okay.
as far as my what I read and
Awesome.
practiced. So
All
yeah.
right. Awesomeness, awesomeness. See if you could do some of the Qigong stuff. Did you get the One Finger Zen video somewhere?
I didn't,
No. All right. I'll send Babaji and One Finger Zen because now's the time where you're going to have to do some physical things.
okay.
So much energy is moving around.
Okay. That's good.
Babaji and One Finger Zen. Okay. I will do that. And just awesome. I hope you have a great week and
Yeah.
have a great day today and get ready for autumn. It's just around the corner.
Yeah. It's really warm here though. It's like 95, it seems like.
Wow, 95.
And
Do you
it's
do the air conditioning or no?
not out here. I have like 5 fans going. The air's on in the house, but I spend most of my time outside. So I
Okay.
get so yeah.
Okay. Well, absolutely lovely. Please
Thank
send me an email or whatever with anything that comes up, and I'll send you those physical things so that you can physically purge stuff now a little more too. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a good week.
Thank you. Me too. You as
Thank
well.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.